Forgotten Crossroads is most likely the area you'll spend most time in Hollow Knight. If it isn't for merely exploring the location, it is for trespassing through it, to reach new areas. I'm Eric, I'm a game designer, and today I want to discuss the world design of Forgotten Crossroads, look into the level design, the enemy progression, and what Forgotten Crossroads is trying to teach you. This discussion will be based on your first experience with Forgotten Crossroads, not the transformation and the return to Forgotten Crossroads in a later stage of the game. That will be a whole separate video. The level design of Forgotten Crossroads is focused on navigational prowess, an understanding of knowing where you need to go. The two available bosses, Grustmother and False Knight, are both in the most outskirt areas of Forgotten Crossroads. There's a good chance that the moment you encounter them, you've already navigated your way through the Forgotten Crossroads several times, finding different routes to get to them, because the first one led to a dead end. The game wants to teach you and emphasize the fact that exploration is about not knowing where to go, and that you'll find your way whilst traversing the world. Of course, Hollow Knight doesn't completely leave you in the dark, not providing you with any directions or guidance of where you could go to next. Forgotten Crossroads is actually very clever about restricting you and establishing points of return, safe zones and familiar locations. Hollow Knight ensures to make important landmarks memorable by making it stand out of the regular environment, making it special by making it bigger or more detailed. Additionally, Hollow Knight includes interactions within these locations. The first time you stand in front of the Temple of the Black Egg, in front of the door with the three masks, you have a conversation which makes this place more memorable through the interaction and through the context that is provided about this location. When it comes to setting boundaries for the player, the Forgotten Crossroads does so constantly, mainly through dead ends within the level design. You enter a specific area and you're unable to go further. The Forgotten Crossroads include several of these points in which you're unable to progress. These dead ends help the big world you can easily get lost in feel a bit smaller. If you know where you can't go, it becomes easier for you to understand where you can go. Often, frequent dead ends can lead to frustration. You just put in effort and energy to get here, and now you stumble upon a blockade. No reward has been given. But Hollow Knight always gives a reward in return, even though it is a dead end. At minimum, it gives you some geo to collect. Though most importantly, it teases you the prospect of the future, showing you areas which are currently inaccessible, connections which haven't been made yet, exciting you by giving you small teasers of what is to come, and enhancing the sense of exploration, because you understand there is so much left in the world to discover. Forgotten Crossroads doesn't merely tease new big areas, it also teases smaller ones, new locations and secrets, which can be discovered within Forgotten Crossroads once you've gained the required abilities. There are many areas with visible rewards which require wall jumping or double jumping. Forgotten Crossroads has a lot of these secret elements, because they want you to find something new every time you transition through it. It's very likely that you've gained a new ability the next time you enter Forgotten Crossroads, which makes running around a familiar area less of a hassle, more like an excursion. These new abilities have regenerated your desire to explore the area once again. For me, every area in Hollow Knight feels to have a theme to it, a specific secondary mechanic which makes this world unique. I would say that in Forgotten Crossroads, it is all about the spikes. Spikes are scattered everywhere in the area. And not only spikes, but also spiky worms. They are there to serve the same function, with the additional complexity of moving around. These spikes actually serve quite an important purpose, and that is teaching you about positioning. Positioning isn't only crucial whilst exploring, but also in combat, which makes spikes the perfect obstacle to have. In addition to the fact that they're easily distinguishable, and they're static, they're not going to surprise you with their movement, but they do demand accuracy and precision. What's so interesting is how the level design of Forgotten Crossroads wants to indirectly teach you about a more subtle and complex mechanic. The fact that you can use your nail to bounce off the spikes. Forgotten Crossroads presents countless of opportunities to discover this yourself, without the game ever forcing you to do it. It's very possible that you mistime a jump at the worms, and try to attack them to see what happens, only to realize that you can bounce off them. Furthermore, the game rewards you for having discovered this mechanic. There's one particular grub which you can get later on in the game, once you've attained wall jumping and double jumping. Or you can get it right now, by using what you've learned with the spikes, and using your nails to bounce off them. This rewards those who have discovered the more intricate aspects of the nail mechanic, but doesn't punish those who haven't, because they're always able to get it on a later stage. The enemy design in Forgotten Crossroads follows a natural progression. They get gradually more complex. The first couple of enemies may slowly move towards you, but further on the enemies will jump to you, will run to you. They're all similar type of interactions, but all with additional elements and abilities added upon it. What is so perfect about the two bosses is how they are a natural evolution of the enemies you've previously encountered. The False Knight boss is basically a Huskguard, with similar type of attacks, but with additional traits which derive from other enemies you've previously discovered. The balls which fall from the ceiling, which you can either dodge or smash into False Knight, are reminiscent of the attacks of the Aspid Hunter from above. Something similar can be seen with the Gruss Mother. Of course, she acts quite comparably to the Grussers, but you also have specific aspects of the Leaping Husk by constantly jumping up and down. The bosses test you on what you've learned from the previous enemies by combining different aspects. And what Hollow Knight does so beautifully is convey meaning through the shape, form and look of the enemies. Form follows function. The way the enemies look is the way they act. The more circular Grussers are quite floaty, whereas the sharp Vengefly is fast and direct. One last aspect I want to cover is within the Ancestral Mount. Once you've defeated False Knight, you are attracted by a distinctly looking area from above. The area looks so different and feels so unique, because it is special, and because it is important. It is the one area that Hollow Knight forces you to complete a tutorial. They literally lock you up, and there's only one way you can escape the area. They take away your freedom for a very important reason. You need to learn how your abilities can aid you in your journey. Not only from a more obvious combat standpoint, but also from the standpoint of progressing through the levels. New abilities means that there are new possible interactions with the world, which allow you to explore previously inaccessible areas. This knowledge is absolutely crucial for you to progress through Hollow Knight. Without this clarification, it could have seriously confused players and made it difficult for them to understand where to go to next. For those who've seen the Balder Elder before blocking your pathway, you now associate this ability with your progression. You understand that by using it, you can proceed further. Forgotten Crossroads also adds this opportunity, this very focused and linear path to teach you about the charms, explain to you how they function, but indirectly rewarding you for having taken down a boss and having learned so much about how the world of Hollow Knight works. Where Dirtmouth laid the foundation for the essential mechanics, Forgotten Crossroads is all about teaching you how to use these mechanics in the world of Hollow Knight, in more complex manners, in the ways that you interact with the world, and how the world interacts with you. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Game Designer Plays. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. And next week we will be back with another Hollow Knight video, covering Green Path. If you're excited for that, I hope to see you back in my next video. See you there, bye bye.